Hey everybody, this is my Royal Farlowella. I'm waiting any second for him now to dash and dart out of view. It seldom sits out in the open like this. Just kind of slipped in the room to check on everybody. It's a rainy day out, so I'm not able to work today. I'm going to try to get some stuff done down here in the fish room. And one of the first things I want to get done is getting some video of this awesome, gorgeous fish. I absolutely love it. So far, it seems to be doing well. I have not yet directly seen it feeding on any of the algae wafers I put in the tank, but I do see it out and about from time to time, scraping on the glass or working its way across the leaves like you see now. It spends a fair amount of time on the woodwork off to the right here. You also get a little look at one of my gorgeous new chocolate gouramis. I have two of them in here. They're both doing well. They're both eating. And I have seen them eat little bits of flake, although they're not really fond of it. And I've seen them eat little bits of crumbled up freeze-dried krill, although again, they're not terribly fond of it. They like the tubifex worms best so far, and I have yet to try any other sort of food for the gouramis. I haven't tried any live food or anything like that yet. But they're out and about fairly frequently. This guy is not. And he is just such a good looking fish. I've had Farlowella before. I've had a few different species of them. And I've always found them interesting. I just think they're a fascinating looking fish, right on down to their whipped tail. These in general, the Farlowellas as a group, generally get called whiptails for fairly obvious reasons. But this one is just stunning. Its markings are gorgeous. I've said before, I used to keep boa constrictors way back in the day, and just every time I look at this, it's not necessarily, the red tail boa, although that does come to mind because those are the ones I kept. But there's a lot of different species of boa that at a glance, you could almost mistake this fish for it. If it folds that dorsal fin down, it would look more like a boa constrictor in a lot of cases than it would a fish. So I'm just really, really happy with this one so far. My only concern is my water. Every Farlowella I've kept has eventually died off in this tank. I've never been able to get one to last longer than about 9 months, and I actually paid a fair whack of money for this one. So I'm really hoping that the changes I've made to my water are going to pay off. I've added some crushed coral and crushed oyster shells, basically sold as poultry grit. You can buy it a lot less expensively if you buy it as poultry grit rather than buying it for the aquarium hobby. But that's effectively all it is crushed coral, not aragonite, just regular old crushed coral, and crushed oyster shells. So I have a mesh bag full of that in my canister filter now. And while these fish do need soft water, my water is like demineralized. There's nothing in it except a little bit of sodium. And I think that's what my issue has been. So I'm hoping that adding the poultry grit, the coral and the crushed oyster shells, is going to add just enough calcium and magnesium to the water that it'll remain very soft, but it won't be demineralized. There will be some electrolytes in the water, and that will be enough, hopefully. So we'll see. Time will tell. The longest one I ever had go in this tank was actually for a couple of years, but it was a weird sort of situation where I'd put 3 or 4 of them in the tank, and I thought they all died off because I'd collected a few bodies and then they just vanished. And a long time went by. I don't even know how long it was. It was probably more than a year and a half, and suddenly I saw a whiptail in the tank somewhere. I didn't know how it got in there, where it came from, and eventually I figured that it must be one of the ones from before that just survived somehow, and it was in the tank all that time without me ever seeing it. And then once I saw it, it lived for about another 3 weeks to a month before it died off. So I assumed that it had been living somewhere doing well enough, And then when I had made some sort of change to the tank, maybe its food sources got cut off, maybe I had done something and reduced the amount of off-walks growing in the tank, you know, algae and surface growth, you know, the biofilm that grows all over everything. Possibly it was, you know, not getting enough of that, and that's what drove it out of its, you know, reclusion. I don't know, but once it came out from hiding and we got to see it regularly, it didn't live much longer beyond that. So, again, not really sure what to make of that, but I was willing, again, to spend a fair whack of money to buy this one in order to try again with my new water. So hopefully it will do okay. You can see plenty of growth right there on the leaf it's chewing on. Now that's mostly just algae. I do have quite a few off-walks grazing fish in this tank. I've got the hillstream loach, I've got rubber-lip plecos. I used to have a bunch of otocinclus in this tank. So there are plenty of fish in here that scrape everything and scour everything clean. And I mean, if you look around the tank, it's not pristine. The back glass in particular, but if you look at all the rocks, you know, and the woodwork and everything, you don't see a lot of algal growth on anything. Even the plants are nice and bright and clean, and that is all thanks to my off-walks grazing fish. So this one's got some competition in there. But I also throw plenty of algae wafers in the tank. I buy the high quality, high carry algae wafers. I really like them. All of my fish seem to love them. I actually buy them in bulk. I go through so many of them. I only spend about 45 bucks and it lasts me for 4 or 5 months usually. And it's totally worth it. I'll actually put a link down below if you go through algae wafers, or if you use algae wafers. Totally worth buying the great big bag of it. I get a kilo of them for $43, I believe. And again, the last bag lasted me 5 months. And I counted one day. I think I go through 17 algae wafers a day on average between all of my tanks, you know, in my normal feeding routine. So at that rate of consumption, I still had 5 months, or almost 5 months, of algae wafers for $43. So again, you just can't beat that deal with a stick. So I'll put a link down below if you want to click on that. And again, as I always say, if you buy anything from Amazon and you buy it through one of my links, I actually get a little piece of that action from Amazon. So, you know, that helps me out. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because I'm standing here again at this sort of cockeyed angle with this red-clawed crab tank down below my knee. And I can't stand here too much longer. I've already been doing it for almost 8 minutes now. So thanks for watching, and make sure you're subscribed. I'm going to be doing plenty more video today, I hope. I'm going to be down here for a while. And, you know, I'll have lots of video of various things coming up on all that. And, of course, if you're subscribed, you won't miss any of that or anything else. So don't forget, this tank here is my Gourami tank. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you real soon on the next one.